So here we are counting the number of atoms in a formula unit. And they give us the chemical formula for this substance. It's calcium bicarbonate. And they say how many hydrogen atoms are in each formula unit of calcium bicarbonate. So just to explain what that formula unit is, when we're talking about ionic compounds, and those are compounds where you typically have a metal cation and an anion. So a simple binary ionic compound would be something like NaCl, sodium chloride. You have a metal cation, sodium metal ion, and a non-metal anion. Here we've got a polyatomic ion, but you still have a cation and an anion, positively charged ion and a negatively charged polyatomic ion. That is an ionic compound. And when we talk about ionic compounds, we use the term formula units. For a molecular compound, we use molecules, like you have one molecule of H2O. But for ionic compounds, we use the term formula unit. So that's all that means. And they want us to count the number of hydrogen atoms. So how do we do that? How do we count the number of hydrogen atoms here? Well, in order to do that, we have to pay attention to two things. We have to pay attention to something called the coefficient, which is there, and we have to pay attention to something called the subscripts here in this chemical formula. So the coefficient is nothing. So if you have nothing there, it's always assumed to be 1. Always assumed to be 1. And so to find the total number of atoms, I need to see hydrogen atoms. I need to see how many hydrogen atoms are in one formula unit of calcium bicarbonate. So how many? Well, let's look at the subscript that comes after this H. It's nothing there, so again, it's assumed to be 1. So in one of these bicarbonates, I have 1 hydrogen atom. But in this case, we have 2 bicarbonates. So this 2 goes for everything inside of the parentheses right before it. Now don't get that confused with what we see here with oxygen. That subscript always applies to what comes directly before. So this 3 means we have 3 oxygen atoms per 1 bicarbonate ion. This 2, because parentheses come before it, means we have 2 of these entire things. And the reason we have 2 is because this is a compound which is neutral by definition. So the charge of calcium as an ion is 2+. The charge of bicarbonate, which is HCl3, is -1. And so we need 2 of these per every calcium metal ion to create a neutral compound. And so if I have 1 hydrogen atom per each bicarbonate ion, but 2 bicarbonate ions, then that would be 2 hydrogen atoms total.